Hi, I'm sure you've had guacamole with Mexican dishes before, but have you ever had an avocado crema? That's what we're going to make today, and this is great with any Mexican dish, or even just as a snack on its own, and it's still very low carb. We're going to start with an avocado. I have a full avocado. I'm just putting this in my Ninja. You can probably use the smaller Ninja attachment, but when I use that, it's really stuffing it in, and so I didn't want to risk that. So I'm just scraping that in. And a little trick about avocados, if you're making avocado, you can, find a clean place to put this, you can leave the pit in. If you were only going to use half, put it like this in the fridge and it won't turn brown as long as you leave the pit in. It's pretty interesting that way. Okay. Take your spoon, just scoop it out, and so I'm putting one whole avocado. After the avocado, and what I love about this recipe, and besides it being super, super easy, is that you're going to put a ton of cilantro, and that's the official amount that you put, a ton. This is one bunch that I bought at the grocery store, and basically I chopped off the ends. Usually with cilantro, there's kind of 3 large leaves at the end, so there's a little stem there, and then further down the stem are 2 smaller pieces, and those are in here as well. So I've washed that and picked that off, and Grace actually helped me do that a little bit. So I'm going to put almost all of this in. I'm going to save just a little for garnish. And cilantro is one of those herbs, I'm making a mess. Cilantro is one of those herbs that actually is better raw. You don't want to cook cilantro if you can help it. It actually kind of takes the flavor away. If you've ever had cilantro, generally if you put it like in a soup or something, you add it at the end. So it's great as one of those kind of garnish things that you do. Okay, so we put 1 avocado. I'm putting almost all of an entire bunch of cilantro, and it's sticking to my fingers. I'm going to save just a little bit for garnish, because the flavor is so nice. We like to put it in, we like to put it in all kinds of things. Just sprinkle it in salads. I love it in salads. We like to put it in on top of salsa, just sprinkle it on top of fajitas. And I'm gonna put some sour cream. This is 1/3 cup of sour cream. I haven't made it in this big container before, so we'll have to see exactly how this goes. And we're going to put onion. Now, this is about 1/3 of a medium-sized onion. You don't want to put a lot because onions do have a lot of carbs. And when I first thought about the onion, I wasn't sure about it, but it makes a huge difference for the flavor. I actually forgot it one time, and we were disappointed. I'm going to put a tablespoon of lime juice. That gives it a great flavor too. Taste it after you made it. You may want to actually add a little more lime juice to it. I'm going to add a jalapeno. This is 1 roughly chopped and seeded jalapeno. Now you can leave the seeds and some of the white membrane in if you like things spicy. I don't like it that spicy. And I'll have fresh jalapeno that I serve with this Mexican dish. And this is a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm sorry, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I add salt to nearly everything I make. And then in here, I have a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin and a full 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. I'm using the dried garlic just because I want this to be, it can be kind of wet. So I wanted to use the dry just to try and dry it out a bit. That's it. That's all there is to it. And it smells incredible. If you don't like cilantro, you're not going to like this dish. And some people don't. Cilantro is one of those things that people either love it or not. And I hope I can get this on right. I always have a hard time with this thing. Here we go. No? My husband's telling him to. You have to line up the little white arrows. I am terrible at following directions. I had it right the first time. Now I put it down and let's give it a whiz. And I'm going to have to take this off and stir it just a bit. This is why I like using the little cup. Oh, it smells so good. The cumin and the garlic and the lime juice really make it smell good. And it's really just going to be like a green puree when this is done. So maybe that will help. This is, like I said, a little too big. You could use a food processor too if you wanted to do that. That may be what I should have used. Let's see. Got my white arrows lined up, and let's see. Starting to come together. Let's scrape it down one more time. The thing about this Ninja, and I don't know if you have a Ninja or not, but the thing about this Ninja is it can be difficult to get the stuff out because the centerpiece pops up and it falls out on you when you're trying to pour stuff. So honestly, this one is not my favorite unless I'm making a much bigger volume. But like I said, I was a little bit afraid it wouldn't come out just right. When I do it in the single serving Ninja, it's really full. Okay, try it one more time. And I think that looks about right. Let me scrape down the sides over here. And the Ninja, like I said, is really a nice tool, but it can be hard to use. Okay, it needs to be pulsed one more time. It's still really thick, and my garlic is up on the side. Sorry about that. I don't know why this is taking so long. Let me try one more time. Let's give this a taste. Love that. It is so good. Like I said, you could put a little more lime juice if you wanted it stronger, but I think it's perfect. The jalapeno is optional if you don't like jalapeno, but I really love the flavor it gives. Okay, and sour cream, by the way, is very low carb, so that's why I like adding it to the avocado, because as you know, avocado is fairly high carb if you're staying if you're counting total carbs and trying to stay under 20 a day as I do. Okay, here is the challenge. There's the blade. See what I'm talking about? Washing this thing is not always easy either. Fortunately, that task tends to go to my husband. Okay, and I could just probably shake that off a bit. Ooh, I could shake it off and make a mess. Okay, so it makes a little more than a cup. And it's really good leftover. Now what I generally do is I make this while I'm cooking the meat, or just usually 30 minutes or so before serving it. The onion flavor is just really fantastic. And really a tablespoon or so is enough. So you could squeeze some fresh lime on it. You can take, I don't have my scissors, but you could take the, making a huge mess. You could take some of the cilantro and sprinkle over the top. You can cut it a little bit just for garnish. And that is avocado crema. Like I said, it is just fantastic with any kind of Mexican dish that you make. I hope that you enjoy it with your family.